Today, Jim and I are headed to the Large Animal Research Center here in Fairbanks, Alaska. If you're in Fairbanks, there is a lot of stuff to do here in town. When we were planning our trip, before that, I didn't realize how much different sites and things to do were here. So if you are planning on coming to Fairbanks, you may want to plan more than 2 days just to see part of the stuff that's here. Well, I gotta go change clothes because it's cold and I'm not dressed cold enough. But yeah, the next you'll see us is at the research center. He's going to town eating on the grass. That one's chilling. And then there's more of them down there. Got pretty eyes.
At Fairbanks, Alaska, they do have a hierarchy. And so that Dobby knows that he ain't the boss. Actually, Hagrid.
You was hoping for something better.
What? How about some grass? Their grass is pretty short in the pen, so they actually like this longer grass. But anyway, I drove up here from South Texas. Oh, that's awesome. Well, you guys are getting picky now on me. That's all right. You sure? Yep, he's pretty sure. I'll put it where you can reach it in case you change your mind. I know what he really wants. He wants the fireweed, but I'm saving that for people that are even pickier, which is the reindeer. Okay, I'm sorry I changed channels, but I really had no choice because the babies did not come out at all yesterday because it was raining all day. And they don't have any guard hairs yet. All they have is kivia. And if their kivia gets wet, that's very dangerous for them, especially when they're newborns. So that's why they didn't come out. They're in under the trees trying to stay warm. So you can see there's one, another one up there in the trees.
Well, we just left the
Large Animal Research.
But
Take the next right onto Farmers Loop Road.
it's a University of Alaska facility.
Yeah.
They do research on large
Continue for
wild
2
animals,
miles.
which is kind of cool.
And right now it's the musk ox and the reindeer.
They have
And
buffalo there
They
too.
do have wood buffalo there too. So if you're here,
Kind of anything to do.
yeah, and it costs $10 if you're 65 or older or military, and I think it's $15
If you're not
if you're not. Kids and students were like $10
for 5, I think.
for 5 or something like that, and under 5 is 0.
This morning we're at Gold Dredge number 8. It's a National Historic Site here in Alaska, in Fairbanks. And right at the entrance is the pipeline, the Alaska pipeline.
Yep.
That is above the ground, so you can see it. It's kind of cool. And they have an example of what's inside here. This is the cleaning thing, I think. Anyway, here's the pipeline. Where it comes out of the ground. For a while, it looks like. I can't see the end of it. So they have some storyboards set up that show the pipeline route. It goes from Prudhoe Bay down to Valdez. All throughout Alaska there.
Now we're taking a train ride, I think, to the Dredge. The beginning of the tour is a whole explanation of the pipeline, and it was really good. It explained about how the pipeline works, how they clean it, what the inside of the pipeline looks like, and the revenue that the state gets from it. So it was a nice surprise added to the tour.
Into a bunch of mud, and you've got a great risk of cave-ins that way. When the summertime comes, they seal these shafts off to keep it nice and cool down there. They proceed to wash through all the material that they excavated throughout the winter. So in the winter, the bottom of these shafts would have a loaded ore car or wheelbarrow. Lowering one of these iron muck buckets down the shaft, they'd unload the ore cars into these buckets, hoist the buckets back up, run them along these cables here like you see, up to that pole called the gin pole. So eventually the buckets would catch, swivel, stretch out, and dump their load. Then come coach dig back down into to bang into these logs here to be reset for the next one. Just about something anyway. You get the picture. Like that. Blast away all of the overburden. If you turn your attention now to the distant horizon, that tree line way over there, that is the original elevation of this very valley that we're sitting in right now. They cleared off 150 feet of overburden and pressure built up behind all those water cannons. Now the goal was to expose this gold-bearing gravel. And it was all frozen too, that permafrost. That's where all these pipes came into the picture that are poking up out of the ground. Those are all called thaw points, set up in a big matrix, 16-foot triangles. They would beat these pipes down into that frozen gravel, trickling the same water supply through those pipes to help expedite the thawing process of that frozen gravel. And what I've just described to you over those few seconds, this component of their operation took them a full 7 years in advance to strip off all that organic overburden, flush it downstream out of the way, expose this gold-bearing gravel, thaw that gravel out in preparation for the dredge to come along and dig it all up. Well, in this instance, of course, it would be going much more slowly and in reverse, and it would instead be cutting up to the bank of the pond. So there was a big industry of these dredges back then, guys. There was all kinds of makes and models and manufacturers of these things over the years, and they would to the size of their digging buckets. In this instance, oddly enough, Gold Dredge 8 was technically a Category 6 dredge because each one of those buckets would hold 6 cubic foot of material. The Gold Dredge 8 had 64 of these number 6 digging buckets in her digging ladder and a continuous feed, 24/7. Top speed of that bucket line was 22 buckets a minute. If you do the math, in a 24-hour shift, this thing would process and spit out about 6,000 cubic yards of material. That's a lot of earth. As each one of those buckets would scoop up a load of gold-bearing gravel from the bank of the pond, each one would then clunk and clang its way up the top of the digging ladder, depositing each load into the mouth of the dredge called its hopper. At this point, I'll pause a moment to turn your attention once more to the TV screens. I believe Alan has queued up there for us an animation that'll be looping several times to help illustrate to you what I'll be describing here next as to what's going on inside this thing.
Okay.
Don't do me. I said go like this, right? $45 degrees.
Not yet. You gotta shake it up to like a lot. Keep shaking it.
Okay, you don't have to record me anymore. I'm trying to show them the specs.
Ready?
Yep. Have her help you finish.
Would you like to help finish that?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're pretty close. So where
We can see the chip, but we can't. A few hundred pans a day.
Yeah.
There's Jim's gold. He found some gold. You can buy an extra bag for $20, but they give you a free bag.
Shake nice and hard. No wonder your system
So I'm going to help him. This is the gold that we found. $21.65 worth. This is the gold we wish we found.
Okay, we just finished our tour of the Gold Dredge and waiting on Michelle. It was a really neat tour. You showed up there. There was a nice display for the pipeline, which was kind of cool. You took a train ride over to the Gold Dredge. They gave you bags of what would you call it, like the dirt or whatever from the active gold mine that you could use to practice your panning if you've never panned for gold, which we had never done. That was a lot of fun, more fun than what I thought it'd be. And we made $21.50, I think, something like that. It was pretty fun. We made it into a little magnet. But the Gold Dredge itself was really interesting, how it worked and everything. An environmental disaster, of course, but it was kind of cool. And so we're heading on now. Thanks for watching this video on the Gold Dredge, Please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you on the next thing we do here in Alaska. Thanks.